Hello, and welcome to this week's battle report on Tried and True. We have a special Mark III matchup for you today. If you enjoy our content, please consider subscribing to the channel and keep up to date with our bat rep and podcast releases. If you would like to support the channel directly, a link to our Patreon can be found in the video description below. Our match today was recorded using the 2021-2022 Steamroller Rules Scenario 1 King of the Hill. Speaking of kings, Andy has brought all three of them today. Great to have you and your army of Trollbloods back on the channel. Please discuss your lists and goals going into the game.
Yeah, this game has zero chill. There will be zero chill this game. I'm playing Ragnor Skysplitter. He has the Sea King and the Mountain King under him. I have Madrak Zero, Champion of the Krills. Madrak Zero has the Glacier King. I have a Trollkin Champion hero, Dunian Knot, and a Min Stone Bearer, and the Attachment Stone Scribe Elder. The point of this list is to play all three kings and have a really good feat for those kings.
Welcoming back to Tried and True, along with three Khador Colossal Warjacks, is Dan. Welcome back. Please discuss your list and army composition going into today's match.
Hey Erica, thanks for having me back. Today I brought one of my favorite Khador Warcasters, and might be the first one I ever actually purchased after my battle box, was Strakhov. Strakhov 1, baby. So he's like the Khador Black Ops caster, and normally he's all about subtlety, but not today. We put 3 Colossus on the table with this guy, and we loved every second of it. I brought Strakhov because he allows the Colossals to have an extremely long threat range during his feat turn. They max out about 17 inches of threat on the one that you put his speed buff on. So the point of this army is to have some really good guns and then reach out and touch some important pieces with your feat turn while you've got some mechanics to repair and Kazi to contest.
Can the Rune Master, along with his 3 kings, claim domination of the hill against Strakhov and an army of Colossal Warjacks? Let's get to the table and roll off.
Okay, first thing I see is we have some big ol' houses that Dan is playing with.
Yeah, she told me it was King of the Hill, and I got here and there were a bunch of buildings in the way. I was like, this is going to be an interesting fight.
Yeah, it's going to get weird with all those huge bases. Objective-wise, I took True Sight.
I took the no knockdown objective.
Yeah, and then we have some...
I don't think either of ours came up, though.
I'm not sure it matters. Then we got some forests and some rubble and a couple walls in random places. I think at some point we do shift pieces of this house. Dan won the roll. He chose side because I think his house is juicier over there. And I got to go first and hide my stealthy Glacier King behind that house. I went with Madrak. Madrak Zero has the Glacier King under him. He cast Bracer and just walked up, trying to stay outside of those giant guns that could just remove him and make it so that Glacier King doesn't do anything for a turn. I really would like to avoid that at all costs. So Madrak's hanging out there, camping 2 with the Glacier King, running and riling up. The Mountain King is right behind him, ready to play backup. Ragnar's going. He's putting up Pulverizer on the Sea King, and then he puts up Even Ground, or Chosen Ground, which gives everything Pathfinder and Steady. So anything that has Tough has Steady now, which is kind of annoying. Sometimes you just don't die. Everything's kind of hidden, unfortunately. Stone goes, seasons itself, sings for Please Don't Set Anything in My Aura on Fire. My Dunian Knot just ran to get in position for later. They can both heal and give up to 3 Puppet Masters out for my 3 very large dudes that all need to do work, so they're a no-brainer free unit for this game. Then I think I'm just running and riling with the Sea King to get all my fury back. And now it's Dan's turn.
Alright, so first turn of the game. There's not a lot to move around with this army, and because he was able to get the first turn, I decided I'm going to take some time to just make sure I do all my positioning as well as I can. I figured out that there's a place where I can actually walk to within range of taking a big gunshot with my Conquest if I use superiority on it. That is the jack that I want superiority on anyway, because honestly I kind of value having the victors more in this army. And shout out to my friend Josh for letting me use his third victor for this. My third one's still unpainted, but anyway, I like to preserve the victors as long as possible. So I'm going to put them on the flanks. This one's running to the outside here.
What's the reasoning why you like the victors better?
So they punch just as hard as the Conquest does, but the gun's much better on the Victor, and it can, I think that it can do more work over a longer period of time, and therefore I want to save them until last, because even if they're further back, they can also contribute to the fight with their longer range guns too. The Conquest doesn't offer much other than the critical devastation, which you just can't count on in most armies, and its guns are anti-infantry mostly, and that has kind of not had a place for a while. So
that's a measly range 15. Oh no.
Right, yeah, exactly. So Colossal on the north side of the board's walking up into the forest. We got line of sight to his Gargantuan. I believe the Sea King's on that side. I just popped a shot into it to let it know his boss.
Yeah, he took 4 damage.
Yeah, just scratching the paint off of that boat he's wearing. So here we are going with Strakhov. He's got 3 upkeeps that he wants out, and with his resourceful ability, he's able to upkeep everything on his battle group for free. And one of the reasons I built this army the way I did was because it gives me the exact right targets for all of his upkeep spells, so I get the max benefit for that. Occultation goes on Strakhov because he wants to stay safe from long-range guns. Sentry goes on the Victor that's closest to him. And Superiority goes on to that Conquest. Sentry is great for the Victor, allows him to take an extra shot during the maintenance phase. So I can light more things on fire, or I can get a flare out there to make the rest of the turn more accurate when the actual activation phase starts. Conquest is going to move up to the middle of the board, and he's going to take a shot, and I think he misses it, or something. Yeah, he does miss. I think I rolled like double ones on a Troll Colossal or Gargantuan. It was a big feels bad moment. Oh well.
Defense 9, it's too much, man.
All that careful planning to move him into the exact right position, and then screw it up. So remember how I said I was going to be careful about my positioning at the start of the turn? I screwed up with Sorsha there, and I was trying to get her to behind this Colossal and be within 8 of the one she's controlling. I'm going to end up nudging her back later so that she's actually where I said I wanted her to be. Andy was gracious about that. Kazi run up their position to contest.
2 ambushing kings appear.
Yeah, that's right. 3D terrain.
Okay, it's back to my turn. Dan hasn't really given me anything. My guns aren't really designed to try and take these things down. And I have a static 10-inch threat on my melee, so he's well out of that for anybody, so I kind of need to do another positioning turn. I revol my Fury back. I upkeep both upkeeps and start with 5 Fury. And then Madrak 0 starts with 3 because he's upkeeping Bracer on the Glacier King. The Glacier King's leading the way because he's currently armor 23. So I'm trying to position him behind that house at sort of an angle and at an awkward spot close to that flag so that he can only really get 1 Colossal on him if he wants to go in on it. My goal here is to hold on to my feet as long as I can. My feat essentially says anytime you roll a damage roll on anything in my control range, you roll 1 less die. So if I hold on to my feet as long as possible with the fewest things on your side of the board, that means you basically spend a turn not doing any work. I still have Pulverizer on the Sea King, hoping that he's reached 4 on that one chain arm with the anchor on the end of it. So he kind of threatens the furthest, but there's not really a whole lot for him to go get. I'm going to spend his entire 32-point turn just barfing at a stealth model that I can't actually hit. Go ahead, roll your dice, man. You know you're not going to hit her. We drift.
Yeah, this is a bit of a weird game, right? Because we have so few miniatures on the board, every single activation counts so much more than it usually does.
Yeah, and your 2 free units of Chaosi Girls are really, really scary when it comes to trying to contest, because me having to spend 32 points just to clear one of them per turn is, like, not ideal. All of my points are spent on that stone and my one solo who's trying to get to that flag eventually. So I run my Glacier King. He's going to lead the way, being armor 23, and hopefully only getting one Colossal and melee on him. So my goal is to present him to you and say, I don't think you can one-round me. That's sort of the intention here. You don't have any upkeep removal that I know of. I have Hex Blast, but it's not really anything that I want to get in range to do anything with, so we're just going to hang back. I run my champion hero to hopefully score that flag next turn and not get shot off the board in that trench. Vengeance of Dunia gives me 2 free trenches and a free Animi cast on my caster, making Vengeance of Dunia just probably a no-brainer theme for this kind of thing.
Yeah, those trenches did a lot of work this game.
Yeah, just being able to throw those 20 inches up is huge. I went with the stone. The stone only got 1 this turn, but I think it got 3 last turn, so it's respectable. I think it's about 8 or 9 inches right now. I think it maxes at 9, so it's probably around 8 right now. So it's respectable. My whole goal is just to keep all 3 kings in it as long as possible, just so everybody's at minimum armor 21 to any gunshots or stray things coming in. And I'm pretty much always singing for no continuous effects, because giant Victor 5-inch pie plates that set everything on fire is not pleasant. My caster walks into the trench, and then my giant Mountain King gets in the way of anything killing him, essentially. Then I realize Madrak needs to be 8 inches from the Glacier King, so he just runs and gets into the trench and camps 3 and says, you don't have enough guns to get through 3 Fury, hopefully. The Dunionaut runs up, and pretty much just a positioning turn. I kill 0 models this turn.
Yeah, so I'm really feeling the scenario pressure. While Andy did leave the southern zone empty, and I can just walk in and score it with a Victor, that forces me to kind of split my forces up, so I can't have that Victor in the pocket anymore. That means that the center zone is left to basically just the conquest to fight for at this point. And I just start feeling, I guess, a combination of scenario and attrition pressure. I can score 1 point on my left on the bottom zone, but there's 2 points available in the center zone. So if that gets cleared, I'm in big trouble. I'm hatching this plan. Right now we're doing a gunshot with the Victor in the maintenance phase, because Sentry, the upkeep spell.
Oh, you flare a bunch of dudes here, yeah.
That's right. You put out no continuous effects, so I was like, maybe I can use this -2 defense later on in the turn. So the trouble I'm having navigating this portion of the game, and what I'm going to be thinking about for the majority of this turn, is that I've got to contest the middle of the board here. And I originally picked this side because there was this cute little spot where I could be way behind the house in the middle of the board and still have a Colossal contesting the center zone. And then I just got cocky, and I decided this turn I'm going to send this Colossal in. I'm going to try and do some damage before he uses Ragnor's feat, and then maybe I can finish the job after the feat turn happens.
I didn't consider how much pressure it was to actually get that Jack into that zone. I was like, I have to gift him this rectangular zone. So it was I felt like it was a mistake on my part, but I didn't realize how much pressure you were under to be like, I have to be here. I can't go in.
Yeah, the problem was that I couldn't... I knew I needed to get up on scenario points because I knew your feat given this terrain setup, was going to really be crippling to me. And in this particular scenario, Strakhov 1 basically doesn't get a feat because you're already well within my threat ranges, so I don't need to get risky with Strakhov because I have to get you within my 12-inch control range. And I can threat you anyway. I can out-threat you anyway. So why would I go and put on that extra risk? So unfortunately, I'm not going to leverage his feat this game, but it's pretty fun to launch robots 17 inches downfield. So give it a shot if you've never tried it. The problem is that means I can't send both Colossals into the middle because I can't get them both there without going with Strakhov beforehand, and then he can't get to the rectangular zone to score it, and I don't have any other Jax battle engines, so that's all the things. So I'm forced to commit one Colossal, but not two, and I didn't feel like I was going to one round you. It would have been great if I did, but I would definitely have need spiky dice, and I just thought to myself, maybe I can do enough damage that if this Colossal survives and I can put its arms back on with my mechanics, then I can finish this thing off under your feet turn, which is definitely not what you want to see.
Yeah, I mean, I think not to do spoilers or anything, but I think you leave him on 17 boxes with that one Colossal, which is totally doable to kill under my feet.
Right, because you can't put out all the armor buffs in the world. I think they're at dice even or maybe dice positive a little bit, and I could load them up with three focus and make that happen. The other thing I was kind of hoping was that and you can see the proxy base of where the Colossal is going to end the turn at, but the other thing I was hoping for is that between the house and the flag and the Glacier King already being where it is, I was thinking maybe it's difficult for him to get the Mountain King to actually attack this guy. And I think that certainly would have been the case if I had tucked farther behind the house like I had originally talked about. But with me presenting him so far, you were eventually going to be able to get into melee with him. So I think if I had to take this turn back and do it over again, I would have been more cagey with that center scenario zone, and I probably would have been more attentive to the positioning.
I think what you're doing now is you're just ripping shots into my box, I think. With
That's right.
Sources Jack.
Yep, that's right. The Jack at the top of the screen, he got a bunch of focus. He moves up into position, and he just starts ripping that objective off the board, because I feel like between that scoring that point and the rectangular zone in the south, that might put the pressure on hard enough that that you have to do something risky or strange in order to maintain scoring parity. And if that leads to an unforced error, then maybe I can get an advantage elsewhere here.
Oh yeah, definitely. You're pretty much guaranteed to be 2-0 at the end of this turn.
Yeah, and then that Colossal goes and whiffs a bunch of damage rolls and leaves that objective alive. So
yeah, I think it's on like 4 or 5 boxes now.
That's right. I'm going to eventually be able to clean that objective off with the Colossal near the south of the board, because again, that Victor with its 20 range gun can see over things with arcing fire. I'm going to tickle it for the last couple points of damage that it had left. But that means that one gunshot's not going into your support models and everything else. So I was a little upset about having to expend the extra resources.
Oh, I'm just in disbelief here. I'm just like, wait, hold on. This man is going to shoot my box right now. Like, wait, hold on. And then you're like, range
baby.
20, man. I'm like, oh, all right. I guess that's true. Range 20 is a thing.
Yeah.
And that obliterates my box.
Yeah, I had enough focus to boost and everything. And then I started rolling up gunshots to go into the Glacier King, because I said, if I'm going to be punching it anyway, maybe I can take a chip out of it with the secondary batteries here. But and then I keenly became aware that I didn't put myself within range 12 of the within 12 inches of the Glacier King, so I can only shoot at the Mountain King.
Yeah, I think your own objective was kind of in your way there doing that.
Yeah. One or two gunshots later, I'm like, oh, I'm just making whelps now.
Yeah.
This isn't even doing anything.
Yeah, bring me more
So
whelps. Many whelps.
I quickly abandoned that plan of shooting the Mountain King.
Thank you for my contesting model, Stan.
Yeah. Saves you a point, too. So I think we're now, like, getting the final positioning down for the Colossal.
Did he have to charge for that?
Let them fight.
I don't know if he had to, but I was easily able to get a boundless charge onto him.
Oh, you got a balance
so-
charge on him. Never mind.
Yeah, so charging was free anyway. You know, I would have thought a lot harder about it if I was forced to spend a focus, but thankfully we could circumvent that.
Yeah, that's true. I forgot about that. Good call.
Yeah, so we come roaring in. We got a charge attack, and I think you did get this one up to armor 23 at this point.
Yeah, he's got Bracer and the stone up.
Ugh, the worst. So.
Oh no, straight dice.
Yeah, I mean, for cracking heavy targets, this list doesn't really have a damage buff, so it really just relies on the fact that the Colossals are swinging at POW 23, and if they're not able to, dice something, it's gonna go poorly.
Yeah, my dudes are natural POW 19, but I got a lot of things I can load at least one of them up with to like hit about as hard as your guys do.
Yeah, absolutely. They get to respectable levels, and with dice being what they are, and the fact that you've got some Puppet Master available, you can take a poor damage roll and tune it right back up. So, I am
Or
absolutely
random snake eyes.
respecting. Yeah, that too. Yeah, I'm absolutely expecting the gargantuans that you brought to the table to be more than capable of removing Khador Colossals in this game, which is why I'm forced to be so cagey about all these movements. End of the turn, Strakhov's just going to camp a bunch of camp to focus, walk to the range where he can control both jacks and still try and maybe do something on the other side of the field. I don't know. We hang out and we pass turn.
Yeah, so you score 2 here. My box is dead, and you're contesting my rectangular zone up top, so my Sea King is still not doing anything. I reeve my Fury back. I upkeep everything again. My Glacier King, like I said, I think has 17 boxes left to his name, but he is alive.
Yeah, in that north zone, you can't see it in the camera, but there is a tiny Kayazi model just hunkered down behind a wall, and
Just being defense 19.
just begging that gargantuan to do nothing but delete this free model.
I quickly run my whelp into that rectangular zone. By the way,
Blast!
that whelp is hiding like in the little cubby in that house, is in that little tiny corner.
Right under the top.
I
of the
don't
trees.
upkeep Pulverizer. I am planning on throwing that onto the Mountain King. I'm going with the Dunian Knot right now, of which there are 3. One of them is base with that Glacier King, healing him up because I think both his spirit and mind were gone. So he healed for 2. And then the other 2 just throw Puppet Master on both the Glacier King and the Mountain King. The Stone goes. The Stone actually sings for strength this turn. Because I want to get as much hitting power as possible. They roll for 3 and max themselves out at their 9-inch bubble. So at this point, I'm not entirely sure where I want to put the Glacier King. I just know I want to go with the Mountain King first, and I want to load him up as much as possible to do as much work as I can possibly do, which means I have to go with Ragnor first. Unfortunately, I would really love to know whether this Colossal's going to die before I go with Ragnor, so that I can know whether I want a feat or not. But to be on the safe side, this has to be a feat turn. Like, I have to do that on the off chance that I don't remove this model. So I cast Primal for free on the Glacier King, and then I spend 2 for Primal on the Mountain King. Then I cast another 2 for Pulverizer, and the Mountain King is now hitting at a whopping power 23 after 3 actions with the Stone, Primal, and the Pulverizer. So plus 4 total from power 19. So he is charged up.
Turns out that Khador Colossals do not have armor 23.
But they
Like
do have
yours
power
do.
23.
Yes.
So you did actually position this really kind of well, because I can't really get to him and walk because of my mighty speed 5. It just doesn't get there without standing on the flag. I'm trying to find an angle in which it does that, but and still be in 2 inches of you. It's just not working out, so I have to spend 1 a charge here, which is not ideal.
Yeah, that thing's got Fury 5, though?
They're all Fury. Well, this is the problem. They're all Fury 5. Madrak Zero is Fury 4, so if I ever go full on the Glacier King, he's going nuts. They're all Threshold 6 as well, by the way. So they're just... it's very difficult for me to actually go hot on anybody, or to go hot on more than one thing, I guess. So I charge attack with the Mountain King. I roll decently here. I still have a Puppet Master. I forget about my assault shot, but Dan lets me take it anyway. I appreciate that. I have killed a mechanic and deafened your Jack and did 0 damage to it. So it's a whole -2 defense from your whatever 8 or whatever it is. I am rolling to hit. I am a mat 7 and I roll a 3, so I hit him. And I am continuing to buy attacks. Power 23 is dice plus 3, so rolling a little bit hot on damage rolls here, and rolling really bad on to hit rolls. I roll a 3 for damage there, and then I Puppet Master and roll a 6, so got 3 bonus damage out of that. I am loaded up. I put my 5th Fury on him and finish him off.
Yeah, at that point, it was there were less damage boxes than he had dice, so it was going down even after...
Yeah, I think he had like 3 or 4 damage left in his dice plus 3, so minimum of 5.
Yeah, there's no point in rolling a damage roll.
So here's a mistake on my part. I really like this from a positioning standpoint, because I can keep this Glacier King safe from melee range of your Colossal, so you can't finish it off. So it basically means my feat guarantees me to have 3 heavies on my next turn. However, I forget that this guy is under Madrak Zero, not Ragnor. Because I built the list. I should know who has which Gargantuan under them. So I am thinking I can't go hot with this Jack. I can't actually, this beast, and I can't actually I can't put any Fury on him. So I end up I just put a gunshot into the objective and put no Fury on him, which means Madrak has to cut for 1 next turn if he wants to go up to full. Not my favorite thing.
Yeah, but pulling it back like that, like you said, it more importantly guarantees it stays alive.
There's no way for you to get in a melee with it is the crucial thing.
Yeah, there's nothing in that pocket that can get through there.
I run my champ hero to that flag to score it, but I totally forget to put any Ragnor or any unit in the zone, so I don't actually score the zone, even though I clear it. The Sea King walks up and barfs at one of these ladies. He boosts a hit and obliterates her. Blech.
Now you can see the one hiding behind the wall at the top of the screen.
Yeah. However, she's still there, so I can't do anything about her. So this 32 points killed one of them. Maybe next turn I'll kill the other one. We'll see how it goes. I play a little bit aggressively with him, knowing that if you want to send that Colossal in, he's not one-rounding the Sea King under feet, and the Sea King can basically, if not kill it, cripple it, because you don't really have any mechanics over there. So I think he wins that trade if you send it go all in with that. Then I clock it over to you. I think I score 1, so I'm still down 1 on scenario.
Started my turn. I'm going to measure to make sure that I can clear this zone with my Kazi. I want to get that whelp out of here. I'm thinking that since I'm down a Colossal at this point, I've got to somehow try to preserve 1, keep my caster alive, and just not engage.
Your maintenance
really.
range. I'm not even bothering to measure anymore. I'm just like, yeah, you got it.
Yeah,
like,
right.
Yeah, it's 20 inches. Like, there's not.
I mean, you moved closer. It's going to be in range.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, you got it. Sure, shoot whatever you want.
Yeah, that's right. He touches anybody he wants. So I'm mulling this thought over in my head. Losing that Colossal is a big deal right here, and I'm thinking I just don't have the resources to punch through your feet. You tucked that Glacier King back, and now I'm looking at pounding at a fully healthy or nearly fully healthy Mountain King. I think I might have done 3 damage to it or something. and it's just not going to go down under your feet. So
Yeah, arm 21 with 1 die just isn't really doable.
yeah, and like you said earlier, at the top section, at the north section of the board here, I'm looking at the same deal. I send a victor in after you're seeking, and I don't kill it, and I get harshly clapbacked for it. So I'm like, maybe we can play cagey. Maybe we can kind of preserve our resources. I can try and just infinitely contest that top zone, and maybe you don't clear this Chaos behind a wall, ever. And I just leave and try and pull that victor back towards me, but I still want to do work with some gunshots. You didn't put up immune to continuous effects this turn, so I'm thinking maybe I can start just burning off your stone and your support models.
Yeah, that was a mistake.
Well, I don't know if you'd have killed the conquest with just one model.
Yeah, it came down to
without
that
the
last
plus
attack.
one strength,
Right? It
though.
was real close.
Yeah, so, who's to say? I'm going to start covering your backfield in napalm. I'm going to bring my the victor at the top of the screen towards the center of the board, just try to shoot some stuff down. I'm going to continue to use ranged attacks with the other victor, and we're just going to try and find a spot where I can control everything, be relevant, be safe, camp for focus. I will eventually be moving the mechanics to try and flood the zone, block landing spots, and just kind of contest the center zone and the flag that he's currently scoring. I thought about feeding and charging his solo with my mechanics, but under the stone, under his feet, just being armor 19 to begin with, I just don't think the POW 8 wrenches are going to get it done.
That would have been a hero move, though. I gotta give him that.
That's right. I almost did it just for the recording, honestly. I'm going to feet and send these mechanics at you.
I do it with the choir when I'm not on recording.
Combat sticks. So we're at this point. I moved the colossal up. I think I am drifting a gunshot into your backfield, and then spinning up the side guns and starting to take shots at. It was the Dunian knot was mostly what I was targeting.
Yeah, I'm not
and
a fan of this. These are my utility knives that you're getting rid of here.
Yep. If there's another turn to this game, I'm thinking if I get rid of your Puppet Master, that drops the reliability of you clearing one of these Colossals down, because, you roll that 3 for damage, and, you're real sad. If you can't re-roll that thing, that really makes the bell curve matter more to me. So if I can get rid of them in this turn and set up for next turn, that's definitely going to be a benefit, I'm thinking.
You nailed that poor whelp to the wall.
That's right. Yeah, we stuck him there with the Kazi's knives, and then we're going to sidestep over. If I could do that sidestep again, I would have pulled her a little closer back. And my thought with that is maybe it can be in the way if the Glacier King decides to come for the objective here. But I was just trying to speed up my turn at this point because I'd spent so long hemming and hawing about how to recover from losing that conquest.
Yeah, we're both surprisingly low on the clock here at this point, for having 6 models.
You're right. It ends up being a long game anyway because you can't lose anything. Everything's important. So you gotta be measured and valuable with every movement. That takes time. You don't have a crumple zone to this army that can just absorb mistakes.
This was actually some smart positioning by your victor here. With that Kiazi and your objective in the way, it's really hard to get anything in melee on you because everything's 120 millimeter base.
Yeah, that was the point. Everything this turn was about trying to preserve resources for next turn. Anything that I could clog a lane with, I clogged it.
Everybody's on fire.
Yeah. I ran out of fire tokens, but
I got plenty of those.
You got plenty of those in your bag. So we're gonna run the mechanics up and just trying to get them into position in between Strakhov, who needs to stay in the kill box and wants to move closer to this Colossal now that it's committed even further to the side of the board. And last turn, I ran him up to be base to base with the mechanic officer to give him girded for whatever reason. But this turn, I was like, I need the extra space. I'm gonna sit further back. We're camping for focus. We've got occultation. Feeling pretty safe with the models in the middle, and we pass turn.
Yeah, so my turn starts up, and it's really annoying to have these like worthless models in the way when you don't really have anything to clear them. So I'm gonna spend like an inordinate amount of time just trying to get rid of the things in my way, just to either clear the zones or get up the board. I do.
Mechanics 1, Andy's clock 0.
Yeah, it's not great. It's not. I'm not having a good time. My feat, however, did its job. Everybody's still alive, and I know I have three fully functional gargantuans to go do work. However, I'd only have one Dunian not left because that Victor up top did work. So all my puppet masters are kind of gone. I'm currently just doing fire damage rolls on my own dudes. They're slowly melting, so my stone aura is quickly shrinking.
Yeah, I think we had to stop to look up if the stone burned to death, does it transfer its fury?
Yeah, I think at some point maybe it didn't, but it specifically says it does now, so which is good. I think one of them goes out. Some more dudes burn to death. He is armor 13 because the stone aura is over, and he dies. So my stone is not looking great. I think this stone actually toughs, so tough and steady is cool. The stone bearer is on fire. He's having a great time. I still have that solo sitting on that flag, but you were careful to move your mechanics in such a way to be 4 inches from that flag. So I scored nothing last turn, and I think you score another one by clearing that rectangular zone.
It was 4 to 1 at that point.
So it's 3.
We're 3 to 1.
It's 3 to 1. Yeah. So I have a couple options here. I know I'm down scenario, and I think we're both low on clock, but I think we're relatively even. So I can either do my best to try and clear the center zone. I can score 2 there pretty easily. Or I can try and charge a caster, who is in 10 inches, just barely, which I think murders him. Ragnor has a really cool field marshal called Weight of Stone, -3 defense and speed for anything you hit in melee.
It's not a good time.
It's
when you got that measuring stick out, I was like, oh man, I wish I wore the brown pants today.
Yeah, so you hit him that one time, and now he's defense like 12, and you put primal on a gargantuan. Now you need 5s to hit. That's pretty good odds. So here I realize that and start to thinking about, okay, I just need to clear these 2 models. These 2 models have to go away. I can use the Glacier King to shoot that big fat mechanic in the back. That's not too hard. But how do I get rid of this little guy in the front who's currently defense 14? I don't have the speed with the Sea King to really hit him, but barfing has worked before, so I'm going to try and barf at him. I am pulling him all the way back from where he's supposed to be doing work to try and shoot at him.
Kayazi's going to live again.
Oh, yeah. God damn it. I roll to the 1, which is perfect, but I roll 4 inches, and it's only a 3-inch AoE. So it goes too far. And now it can't go backwards in the second bounce because specifically that rule says it can only go forwards. So I think I clipped the box and I corrode the box, and that's my consolation prize. It was a sad day. Those 32 points have done, I think, half of a free unit's work so far. That's what it's done.
Hey, to be fair, they scared a colossal away.
Yeah, he stood there and he said, "You're not coming in this zone." That's something.
I'd pay 32 points for that.
I guess. You pay 14 points for that all the time with your stupid bowling ball jacks. Glacier King walks up to within 12 inches of Fat Man over here. I debated on where I wanted my Puppet Master to go, whether I wanted to throw it on him for his gun or Mountain King. I made sure the Mountain King had it because he's the one who's actually going to be going in to make this happen. I don't boost a hit because I think you're a whopping defense 11. I think I just boost damage to try and one-shot him, and I do. It's a power 14, and I think you're an armor 16, so dice off 2 just rips him right off the board. So now that I can reload and boost a hit, because I'm Fury 5, I need 11s to hit, because I'm Rat 5 and you're defense 14. Defense 16, actually.
Yeah, 12 base.
Yeah, so I roll a 10 on that last one, and he is fully loaded, so Madrak can not get all the fury off him. So this is kind of an all-in at this point, because that Glacier King is going to go nuts next turn. Now I'm frustrated. I'm trying to figure out how I can remove that model so I can go eat your caster and go home. I'm trying to figure out if I can get a Hex Blast with Ragnor, or if I can throw my axe at you with Madrak. I just need to see a sliver of your base just to try and just chuck stuff at you until this worthless defense 12, armor 12 model just dies.
I've never seen a mechanic cause so much agita before.
It's been 10 minutes. Like I'm still trying here. And I don't have anything. I just don't have any models.
You die?
I have activated at least 60 some odd points of models so far.
That's right.
Okay, so
the other thing about playing the heavy battle group armies is that sometimes you just don't have the the miniatures to use for things.
Yeah, if you worthless models can just be in your way. So the stone walks up. I'm realizing that I'm not going to be able to get the stone strength on anybody, so I think I just say no continuous effects and cleanse fire off myself. I know that Mountain King's not going to get the aura. Ragnor, make sure to upkeep the pulverizer on the Mountain King. It's still out there. It was just hiding in the back there. I think he primals it for free and does nothing else. There's really not a whole lot else he can do. So I'm going to have to do a trample.
He moves up to score the zone.
Oh,
right?
yeah, you're right. Because I'm count. No, because it doesn't really matter. I wanted to make sure that he's still in 14 of the Mountain King, but his fat ass is still going to be towing my 14.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I thought he was leaving my control range for some reason.
That's when we started talking about how he used to be a Fury 6 caster.
Yeah, that's a lot worse. He's a rune master. He needs that Fury 7. Yeah, so I'm losing all my initials for this, so this becomes much less guaranteed for me. I am at 7 against defense 15. I need an 8 to hit. I have to spend 1 to trample up to you, which is the same distance as a charge, so it gets me within 2. I murder this mechanic because he's dead. This is good. I buy an attack and I boost a hit. I hit you with Yahtzee, all 5s.
Oh no!
And now you're a weight of stoned, so your defense 12, speed, whatever it is, -3.
Things do not look good for Homestar Runner.
Yeah, so I'm happy about that. I roll a 4 for my damage, and I get antsy, and I use my Puppet Master on that. So I roll a 5, so I got 1 more damage out of it. I buy an attack. I don't boost a hit. I roll a 7, and these are all power 22s right now. So he's armor
16.
So armor effectively 21. So it's dice +1. So anything I roll is doing damage. I hit him with a 6 on the last attack, and I think I kill him with that 6. Just enough. And he dies.
Well, that was a fun send-off game to Mark III, if I say so myself. I think we got to put these guys away until next summer. So it was a lot of fun seeing them on the table. I'm gonna miss my 120 millimeter babies myself. Anyway, do you guys mind just talking a bit about the game?
Yeah, it was a great game. And you're right, we're kind of giving the Colossals a good send-off here. A 20-inch gun salute. I mean, whoops. What did you think, Andy?
Oh man, my weapons are called big meaty fists, and that's literally all I felt this game. Where just the only things I did was just hit things with big meaty fists,
that's right.
And it felt good.
There's a variant thing they published a while ago in No Quarter called Extreme Colossal Wrestling, and that's what this list is actually called in my war room right now. So. I mean, it was a blast going into your 3 Mountain Kings. They're beautifully painted. I think it looks really awesome on the table, and just these 3 centerpiece models just honking around. It's so much fun.
Yeah, I think this was a meme list. Like, it's not supposed to be like competitive, but with Ragnar's feat, it's actually kind of good. Like, depending on what you're going into, this is like actually kind of scary.
You're right. I had a game. I got an assassination on somebody with this list, at our recent local team tournament, the Sussy Scuffle. I managed to send one of my colossals 17 inches down the field, and the other one went 15 inches down the field, and I got a caster with it. So like it's
I think you spent 20 minutes doing it too. It worked out.
Any amount of time's worth it when you get the game. So right.
2 colossals.
It just reaches out and touches people when they don't expect it. It's you don't expect a Khador colossal lumbering around at speed 4 to have a 17-inch threat range, so it can really take you by surprise, and it's a hell of a lot of fun to play.
Yeah, I think we talked about this beforehand, or after the game, but I think in an open field with no terrain, I think your list actually beats mine out just because you can kind of get rid of a gargantuan before I feet.
Yeah, there's almost no way that you can protect it, especially if I won that roll and decided to go first. But those houses really changed this battle, but that's exactly what terrain is supposed to do. So when I walked in and I saw Erica putting these houses on the field, I was like, okay, we got ourselves a game. Let's go.
All right. No feet it is. No feet.
That's
All right.
Brought their own caster. Oh, yeah.
Good game, man.
Thanks, man. Good game to you, too.
Hey, so really quick question for you guys. So was this harder to, like, was this 75-point list harder to pilot because you had so little pieces and big pieces versus what you normally bring to the table?
Oh, hell yeah. This was so much harder. Like Dan said before, there's no crumple zone. Everything I play, almost everything I play, has Idrians sitting in the way just to sort of be, roadblocks in front of my things that I really don't want you to one round before I could get work out of them. So Idrians, Zealots, little 3-man units that can just kind of be roadblocks just aren't there in this list.
Yeah, it's challenging in different ways because you don't have like the clock pressure of moving a bunch of bodies around and swarming the board and having to pick the right position for 16, 20, 30 models. But you do have to make sure that you don't lose any of your 6 models. So the tactical positioning of a model like a tall list like this with not too many models is harder, but at least you can save time on the individual motions once you've made those decisions. I think it's just an analysis difficulty rather than the physical requirement of putting more things in zones and whatnot.
Yeah, I know we were both terrified for our juniors because if those 0 casters go down, it's sort of game over. Like, there's no way to come back from that.
Yeah, that's a third of your list gone. And I don't know about other factions, but I feel like Khador can't really put the 3 colossal thing on the table without having at least one junior available. So
I agree. I don't know a faction who would want to, honestly.
Yeah, maybe something with like a great battle group feat or something, but I think it just comes down to this could be a competitive sort of army in a different way than normal competitive armies appear in today's regional meta in our area, at least.
I mean, let's be honest. We did this for the lulz. This was for fun.
Yeah, sure. It's definitely one of those games that I'm going to remember as just being a blast to play for the theme of it rather than anything else, honestly. We've been talking about doing this battle report for like 3 months now, so I'm super happy we finally broke them out and got them on the table.
Well, hey, before we sign off on this one, shout out to Paul on the big houses. They're beautiful. They're beautifully painted, and shout out to Delaware Warmachine for the forests and the trees. They look awesome, guys. So we're looking forward to getting more pretty big terrain on the table in the future. So stick around.
Maybe not 4 stories the next time. That's a little in the way.
Thank you for watching. If there are any warcasters, warlocks, or factions you would like to see on the channel, please let us know in the video comments below. A big thank you to our patrons who help support the channel. It's a huge help. Thank you so much. And as always, see you on the next Tried and True Battle Report.